Now, I got a lot of Famicom games while I was there. This one I think is probably my favorite pickup Famicom-wise. Ys 2, and it is pronounced Ys. You can see from the Japanese Ys, not Wise, as people often called it when I was a kid. For a while I wasn't even aware that there was a Famicom version of these games, because I had them on the Turbo Duo. They actually, Ys Book 1 and 2 came with my Turbo Duo when I bought it, and I played through those and loved them. So I'm looking forward to hearing probably a lot of the same music done with the NES chipset. And this is complete. We've got the manual here, and these little cards. There's the actual cartridge. Pretty cool. And a manual. It's not full color. A lot of manuals back then were full color in Japan, a lot more than they were here in the US, but still pretty neat to have. This is a strange thing. I'm definitely going to make a video about this. At first I thought it was unopened, but now I realize that this cover here actually covers where this is a box that flips open, but I haven't opened it yet. I'm going to make a video when I do that. This is for the Famicom Disk System. It says PsychoCalibur on the label there, so I'm not sure. Obviously this is the PsychoCalibur sword, I would imagine. But if you can see from the back here, it's got the Famicom Disk System disc. It's got some books. They look like stickers. They may not be. I'm not sure what they are. And then there's a cassette tape that goes with it. So I'm really interested in seeing what's up with this. I'm going to have to read more about it later. Oh, it actually says, okay, disk system, software, Irasto book. I don't know. Some kind of book. I can't read that stuff. Character card and a cassette tape. So we will see exactly what that is. As far as these cartridges go, okay. Ikari Warriors, probably my least favorite game on the NES. It's terrible. I rented it with a friend of mine. We played through the whole thing. We played it all night. There were no differences in any of the stages. It was just the same music, the same enemies. You just moved up the screen. It was like 100 stages, and it was not worth our time. But the reason I bought this Japanese version is because of this cover art. This is amazing. If you've ever seen the comic or the movie Gray, Gray Digital Target was the movie. These are drawn by the same artist who did those. So this was worth it just for the cover for me. I'm going to try to clean it up a little bit if I can do it without destroying it. But I had no idea that he did this. That's pretty cool. Too bad it wasn't a better game, but Kinnikuman, Muscle Men, as it was called in the US. So that was pretty fun. I already played that a little bit. Good grief. Championship Lode Runner. We put this in for a minute and we couldn't solve any stage. It's super difficult. Championship for sure. King's Knight. This was a Squaresoft game. I heard it was their very first game. I'm not sure. It's also really strange, and it's got whoever it owned it, they've written their name on the back of it. But it was very odd. It was like almost like a vertical scrolling shooter, but you're people. And I'm going to look more into that. Macross, or if you ever watched Robotech, that's what it was called in the US. This is a side-scrolling shooter, and you can change the form of your ship from the robot to the Guardian mode to the airplane, which is pretty cool. I really don't know what's up with this guy. Jinhyoko Nikkei. Oh, there, that may be the actual name of it up there. It's written so small I can't really... Tatakae Ramen Man? Oh, he's Ramen Man or something? I don't know. We'll see. A lot of these I picked just because the cover made it look like it might be an interesting game. And this was made by Konami. I haven't tried it yet. I don't know, Garius? Possibly? Majou de Setsu 2 Taimachi Kyo Garius. I haven't really researched a lot of these, and I'll find out eventually. I haven't tried this yet, but we love these SD Gundam games, my son and I do. So it's SD Gundam Gaiden Night Gundam Monogatari. Oh, Night Gundam Story, Monogatari Story. I love it when I waste my time trying to translate and it's written in English right underneath it. This says Family Boxing, but if you look closely you can see in the US this was Ring King. I didn't know it was called Family Boxing in Japan, and I really loved Ring King. I don't even like boxing or sports games generally, but that was a good one. Super Chinese 2. Not exactly politically correct, but I know I've played some of these in the US. Can't remember what they were called. I also got Super Chinese, the very first one. It's got it written in English. And then, to complete my set, Super Chinese 3. And this one is actually a role-playing adventure, which is weird. The other ones are kind of beat-em-up games. You're just, punching everybody that comes on the screen. So I'll probably do a video on these guys. Dragon Buster 2, I've got the original Dragon Buster with the box. It actually has a gold cartridge. So that looked pretty interesting to me. Somebody put some stickers that must have come in the box on the back of the cartridge. Fantastic World. I don't know what the series is of this, but I got it to work and played it a little bit. They've also put a sticker on it. The whole name may not be Fantastic World. That's a difficult font to read. Majiko Haru. I can't read it. That's too weird. Anyway, you were this little guy. He played as this guy right here. And he was sticking his tongue out and he looked like he was eating a bunch of takoyaki. I have no idea, but it was not a bad game. I'm going to have to play it some more. Donald Duck kind of speaks for itself. I played this for a second, and all I did was beat Daisy in a potato sack race. Hopefully there are other modes of gameplay. I'll look into that more later. Jarvas. Picked this based on the cover. My wife saw it and thought it kind of looked like Nausicaa, and I agree. Then I started the game up, and good grief, it was kind of terrible. At least I didn't know what I was doing. It might be better if I understood it, but I'll look into that. Jya Jya something Kun. I don't know. There's a frog and a ninja. Oh yeah, I played this a little bit. I feel like in the Game Center CX game, one of their games is kind of a parody of this one. I was just running around as this little ninja attacking ghosts and whatnot until I'd cleared the screen, and then it went on to the next one. Oh, it's got a little game graphic on the back of the cartridge. That's kind of cool. You don't even have to have the box to have a sample of the gameplay. Oh yeah, my son and I love these, as I think I already mentioned. SD Gundam Gachapon Senshi 4 New Type Story. I have yet to try it, but it looks pretty sweet. Mach Rider. That's another game that I really don't like, but it's a first-party game that looked kind of sweet. I love that cover. Way better than the American cover, which those first-generation NES game covers were all pixelated. Sometimes they looked worse than the actual game. But I remember I had like 25 bucks burning a hole in my pocket when I was a kid, and I bought this game and immediately regretted it as soon as I played it for like 3 minutes. That font is so bad you might think it's in Japanese, but no, it actually says Last Armageddon. Totally bought this based on the cover. I'll look at it later. Daiva. I'm assuming it's probably a side-scrolling space shooter, just from the cover. Hanjuku Hero. No idea. It's made by Square. I'll give it a shot. Faxanadu. This was one of my favorite NES games. I thought the cover was pretty sweet. Thought I'd check and see if there were any real differences other than the text. Cosmic Kyaria? Cosmic Kyaria, I don't know. There's space. There's a planet. Could be another exploration game like the Starflight on the Genesis. More SD Gundam. I played this one a bit and it is sweet. There's Mazinger, there's Gundam, there's other giant robots I don't recognize, but it's SD of a whole lot of different giant robot series. It's Super Robot Taisen. And it is a turn-based strategy game, but it's almost like a mashup of a whole lot of different giant robot TV series in Japan. O-Nyanko Town, I think that's what it says. Played this a bit. You appear to be a mother cat trying to chase down your a delinquent child who's running around town and avoiding the dog cops and not getting run over by cars and things like that. Really weird. Kind of like Mappy, but with a top-down view. This really surprised me. This is called Spartan X, but you might be able to guess from that picture. This game was called Kung Fu in the US. So, I'm not sure why it's called Spartan X, but it was a pretty fun little game. I used to enjoy that. Xerion, played that a bit. Side-scrolling shooter. Cannot read that for the life of me. Fantasy role-playing, I can see that in English on there. We'll see when I get it going. Juve Quest. Don't know. But here, I know you'll be jealous. Aerobic Studio. Yep. You had to have the power pad for this, which I don't have a power pad. So we were just able to plug it in, turn it on, and watch that girl going through an aerobics routine on the title screen. Someday I'll get a power pad and give it a shot. I saw this on Game Center CX. This is fireworks thrower guy there, and this is the 53 stations of the Tokaido, which is the road between Kyoto and Tokyo, or Edo at the time. It's 53 stages, and it's really difficult, and you have to start over when you die. And so it's really a incredibly hard and not actually very good game that it was fun to watch Chief Arino trying to play through, and he did finish it. So having this game, it's almost like a celebrity to me, but not quite as much as Tageshi's Challenge, which is notoriously the worst Famicom game ever. JonTron did a video about it, but the very first episode of Game Center CX, which you can find on YouTube places, he plays all the way through it, and he actually goes to Taito to talk to them about the development of the game and if any of the programmers still work there, and is a pretty interesting story behind that game. So that's it. That's pretty much everything I bought at Super Bitcon this year. Thanks for watching.